डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar students, welcome back. In this module, we will take one demonstration that we have discussed in previous lecture. We will call one web service and whatever result written by that web service in form of JSON data, we will display that inside list view. So, let us start this demonstration right now. So friends, this is my welcome to Android Studio dialog box. I have already written one project to call web service and get data in form of JSON for you. So I am clicking on that project. So first we will understand project structure. So here you can see we have manifest file, Java file which is main activity, and layout file which is activity underscore main. So let us try to understand what changes you required inside Android manifest file. So I am clicking on that. So here we are fetching data from internet, right? So we require permission android.permission.internet that we can specify using uses permission that you can see on the screen. So don't forget to include these line inside your Android manifest file, and inside application you have to write down these line. Android colon uses clear text traffic is equal to true, so that we can access data from either HTTP or HTTPS also. So this is why we have to write down these line inside application. So these are the changes you have to write down inside default manifest file. Now we will discuss our interface. So I am going to activity underscore main.xml file. Our interface is very simple. Here you can see one edit text is given with ID txt ID, where user enters ID of particular students, and when user clicks on this button get student data for given ID, we will fetch data from some URL or web services and display that inside single student data inside this list view. Similarly, to fetch all student data, we will click on this get all student data button, and whatever result written by URL is displayed in this, and this is my list view with ID list view. ID of this button is btn result and ID of this button is btn simple. So I hope you understand these interface, which is very simple, right? Now before we understand our Java file, I want to show you that URL. So we have two URLs. First URL returns result of single students. Now I have made this URL public. So even you can use this for writing your code, right? So these URL student.baou.edu.in/web service/service1.asmx/studentdbjson, and question mark ID is equal to ID entered by user in edit text, for example 1. So ID is equal to 1 will fetch data of student with ID 1, right? So this is URL for fetching data of single student, and similarly this is data to fetch all student information stored as a JSON file on server. So this is URL to fetch all student data. So let us understand this code. So I have declared two buttons to fetch data of single student and multiple student. I have declared one edit text to fetch student ID. I have declared one list view to display student data. I have declared one array list, which is dynamic data structure, to fetch variable number of students inside it. So student list is a basically array, but since it is array list, it is a dynamic array. So using add method, you can add any number of student inside student list. We need not to declare in advance the size of array. So that is why we have used array list, because we don't know how many students are there in file. So for that we require array list, and we know that array adapter or adapter is used to populate data within list view. So these adapter fetch data from array list, which is student list, and display it inside this list view. So this is a required control and variables. Then I have declared various strings to fetch ID, username, program and path, and whatever response returned by that URL is stored in response text, and this is a string buffer that fetch data from server line by line, and finally we store that inside response text. And these boolean variable is used to specify whether I want to fetch all records or particular record, because remember, one URL returns single record and one URL returns all the records. So how can I know? Otherwise what I have to do is I have to write down two separate coding. So in order to reduce coding, we have take this boolean variable all records. So only URL is changed, remaining code remains same. So for that, to reduce the code, we have write down this all record. If it is true, it means I want to fetch all records. If it is false, it means I want to fetch only single record, and this is a URL object. Now what will happen when user clicks on this button or this button? So for that we have to implement its click event. So here you can see inside single btn single, I have write down all record is equals false, because we want to fetch only one record, and this is path from which I want to fetch record of particular ID. So this is how we specify that URL. Remember, if ID is 1, then it represent question mark ID is equal to 1. If ID entered by user is 2, it represent ID is equal to 2. So from these URL we can fetch variable data of student, and then we call get student data dot execute. Now in previous session we have learned that if I implement asynchronous task, I must call its execute method to fetch all 4 methods or whatever method override inside that class. So this get student data is a asynchronous task subclass, and I call its execute method, and here I write down new. So it represents some anonymous object of type get student data, and then call its execute method. Similarly, when I want to fetch multiple data, I set all records to true, means I want to fetch all student details. And remember, this is a URL which returns all student data. This file is stored on server which represent data in JSON format. So, remember, you have to specify URL which actually returns JSON format data, and you must know the format of these data, otherwise you cannot understand. So, you should know what web service takes as a parameter and what is the format in which it returns data. So, I have specified all records to true, then I specify path and then call web service by creating object of asynchronous task and calling its execute method. So, basically these will actually responsible for fetching data from this URL and display it in list view. So, let us understand how it will do that. So, we know that there are 4 methods inside asynchronous task. So, I have written method on pre-execute. So, I have not written anything inside on pre-execute. It means I do not want to display progress bar right now for the sake of simplicity. Once you master this code, you can implement this functionality, right? But remember, here inside on pre-execute we have written nothing. That means we do not want to do anything, and inside do in background we write down return and then get web service response data. So, this is a user defined function which returns web service response data. This is how we implement do in background method, and assume that these method fetch data from server and store inside our student array list after extracting information. So, what we can do is we can create one adapter with new array adapter. It is of type string. First argument is context, second is how we want to display that data, and assume that these get web service response data has already fetched data from server and put inside the student list. So, this is ready with all student data, and we just write down list view dot set adapter and adapter. So, it actually displays data. So, the code is very simple. Inside on pre-execute we write down nothing. Inside do in background we call one user defined function which actually fetch data from server and put it inside student array list, and after do in background on post execute method is automatically called, and inside that we create adapter to fetch data from student list and display it inside list view. But the heart of coding is this get web service response data. So, here you can see its return type is void, and inside this we write down try catch. Why? Because if data is not found, if or JSON data cannot be parsed, then it throws exception. So, that is why we write down entire code inside try catch. So, these URL is created which represent some path. So, we write down URL is equal to new URL and whatever path is there. So, remember, if first button is called, path is this. If second button is called, path is override to this path. So, whatever path is there, we want to establish connection to that URL. So, here I create one object HTTP URL connection, and I have called method of open connection. So, what actually happens is it established HTTP connection. when you type this URL in your browser, internally it does this. It actually established connection with that URL. So similarly, we have also write down inside this code programmatically URL dot open connection. So it will try to establish connection with that URL, and these are optional thing. You can set read timeout. That means here I write down 15,000. What does it mean? It represents time in millisecond. So if time required to read data is more than 50 seconds, then connection aborts. Here we specify set connection timeout. That means if server is too much busy and connection cannot be established within 15 seconds, we have to abort connection. And the third specifies that our request method is get. We have two request method. One is called get and another is called post. So either you can specify get or post. So we have create one URL, we have open connection with that URL, and we write down connection dot response code. Now when you write down some URL, it is possible that that page may be relocated or that page may be not available, or the connection is established successfully, right? So these response codes return some integer value inside response code. Now depending on response code, for example, it returns 200. This connection dot get response code returns 200. It means connection is successfully established. So these are the value which is standard everywhere. So if it returns 200, or we can say http URL connection dot http OK. Now if I move mouse over this, you can see its value is 200. So if response code is OK, it means we have established connection successfully. Now what we can do is we can read data returned by that URL, right? So for that you require buffer reader. So reading response from input stream of URL, you require one buffer reader. This is object of buffer reader. Here we can create instance of object, and inside that I write down new input stream, and that input stream should be get from connection. So connection input stream is attached to input stream, and input stream reader is attached to buffer reader. Now what is advantage of using buffer reader is that we can read data line by line inside buffer reader. So inside response I have created one string buffer, and here I write down one string which represents output. So what I write down next is while output is equal to in.readLine. Now remember, in.readLine will return single line from output. So it reads data line by line in output, and that data is append to response or string buffer. After first iteration, inside response we have first line. When we read second line, it is appended to response in a second line, third line, fourth line, and so on. Every time we read line from that URL, it is appended to response until it is not null. After these returns false, it means end of response. After that we close our buffer reader, and inside response text we write down response dot toString. Let us try to understand these. So you can see here when I type this URL, it returns this. First we read this curly bracket and append it to string buffer. Then we read this line, then this line, and this line, and one by one we have read all the line and store that inside that string buffer. So here you can understand, first it returns curly bracket and store inside response, then it returns these students and colon and put inside response, and this is how entire data is stored in response text by calling response dot toString method. So now these data, these starting from this curly bracket to this curly bracket, entire data is stored in a response text. Then I have called clear method of list view. So if there is anything inside list, it is removed. We have two possibilities. First, we take example of all records. So here you can see my data is something like this. Inside response text, I have data starting from curly bracket to this curly bracket, right? So what I have write down here is JSON array is equal to JSON array object, and here I write down new JSON array. So I want to create one array. Now that array should be represented by response text. So here you can see these square bracket represent our array, remember, and this is my first object, this is my second object, this is third, fourth and fifth. So I should extract data from this square bracket because square bracket represents array. So I write down new JSON array and then I write down response text dot substring. That means I don't want to fetch all data, but I want to fetch data starting from square curly bracket and ending from these curly bracket. So substring method, we specify first index. So it is a starts from curly bracket. So I write down response dot text dot index of square bracket and then response dot text dot index of end character, that is closing square bracket, and here I write down plus because index starts from 0. So these line represent all the data between square brackets, right? So I fetch these data returned by URL inside JSON array. So it automatically creates JSON array based on data stored inside that JSON array. So I don't know how many records are there. So I write down for loop and index starts from 0, and here I write down I less than JSON array dot length. So these data represented by JSON array is stored inside this object JSON array, and I write down 0 to less than JSON array dot length I plus plus, and I want to fetch individual object from these. So remember, these first curly brackets represent first object, second curly brackets represent second object, and so on. So here I write down one object which should be fetched from this array. So I write down get JSON object at index I. So initially I is 0. So it returns first object, that means data within first curly brackets inside this JSON object. Now I can also extract 3 data inside these object, which is represented by ID, uname and uprobe. So here I declare one string and I write down JSON object dot get string and ID. So when I is equal to 0, it represents these data 1, Himanshu N. Patel and MCA. So when I write down when I is 0 and I write down JSON array dot get JSON object I, it returns first object inside JSON object, and using get string method key name which is ID, I get 1 inside ID. Similarly, when I call JSON object dot get string and I supply uname, it provides Himanshu and Patel inside uname. And when I write down get string and uprog, it returns MCA inside uprog. What we have done is we have fetch one URL data inside this response text, and from response text, which is in JSON format, we have created one JSON array automatically, and we have fetched data of JSON array one by one, and we have extracted three information from this JSON array. One is ID, another is uname, and another is uprog. Now, this student list is array list, and by calling its add method, I can append ID, comma, name, comma, program in student list. So I have added one string which is concatenation of ID, username and user program. So this loop will traverse for all records and fetch that record one by one inside this student list. Now what will happen if my data is a single data? So for that we have this kind of data returned by URL. Here only one object is returned between curly brackets, right? So I have just one object. So instead of JSON array, I will use JSON object. So we specify these URL and this data is returned by web service. So accordingly we write down code. So here we can see I have just call one object, JSON object, and here I create object from response text, and this time I want to extract substring data from curly bracket to closing curly bracket. It automatically creates a JSON object from this data and store inside this JSON object. Again, I call getString method of JSON object to get ID, username and program, and I add that data to student list using add method. Now again we recall this. We have created one object. When user clicks on this single student button, we created this object and call its execute method, which in turn call this pre-execute, which does nothing. Then call do in background, which call this method, which is written here. So it established connection with that URL, read its data line by line and store inside these in a response text. And from response text, which is in JSON format, we extract JSON array in case of all records, and we have extract single record in case of single data. And finally, we fetch all data and store inside student list array list. So after doing background, on post execute method is called. So here we have created adapter which is specified by student list array list, and based on data available in student list, it displays that data inside list view. This is how we can call web service represented by some URL, read its data using HTTP connection inside asynchronous task and display that data inside list view. Now I want to test these app inside my phone. Now you can see here my device is attached. Now I want to run this code inside my device. So I am clicking on run app. So it will install these app inside my phone and launch that app on my phone. So now it is installing and launching it. Now let us see actual device. So here you can see my app is launched. Now initially I want to get particular student data. So I am write down 1. Now when I click on these, it fetch single student data from server. When I click on get all student data, it will fetch all the data available on our server. So remember, this is how we can fetch either single data or all the data from server which is stored in JSON format. And remember, we have used asynchronous task to fetch this data from server. So friends, in this session we have learned how to call web service and retrieve its data in JSON format using asynchronous task, and we have used method of URL to establish connection with specified URL. So I hope you enjoy this demonstration. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परः